hard in the beat. But corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. But corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. From the French Quarter vibes to the Ninth Ward grind, he's the voice of the people, yo, he's one of a kind. Talking about the struggle, the hustle, the pain, but with each word he drops, he's bringing power to the game. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Try to silence the truth, but he's loud and clear. From the bayou to the block, everyone can hear. Got the people united, it's a movement, no doubt. With his mic in hand, he's breaking all the clout. City eat the official scheming, yeah, they playing it slick. But Gerod's on the line and he's ready to kick. For the schools and the streets, he's fighting the fight. With a heart full of passion, he's igniting the night. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. From the jazz in the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. In the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, tune in out, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it loud, let's uplift this place.
You just had to let that whole thing play, huh?
I like it. I like it.
You just had to let it play.
Look, it's got a good beat. It's got a good message. I'm here for it. I love it.
Uh-huh.
I know you're hating. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. You know he's got that long song because it gives him an opportunity to get here on time. But he's not here.
Yeah.
But anyway, good afternoon, New Orleans. Good afternoon. It is Friday, and you know what that means. This is attorney Suzette Bagnaris. I'm over here at WBOK on the beautiful historic campus of Xavier University, and I will be joined at some point with your boy Gerod Stevens.
Some point.
At some point.
Wait, no, Pernt.
At some point he's going to get here. Exactly. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the conversation. Today, we're going to slow the conversation down. We're going to do something the headlines do not do. We're going to actually read the fine print because the Inspector General has said oversight is not optional. And that is what the Inspector General told us. And when the Inspector General issues a report, that's not gossip. It's not politics. It's not an opinion. It's an official warning about how government is functioning or failing to function.
Oh.
So recently, the New Orleans Office of Inspector General released a report examining how the New Orleans Police Department managed overtime and oversight during early 2025. The numbers alone were shocking. Over 260,000 hours of overtime.
What?
More than 16.4 million just spent in a 7-month period alone. But
Wow.
let's be very clear at the outset of this conversation today. We're not here attacking the men on the street, the ladies and the men on the street. We're not here attacking the police officers that are doing the job. What we are here talking about today is the failure of a system, the failure of supervision, accountability, and public trust. Because it's not the policeman's fault. It's people who are approving this overtime or just letting the overtime roll and not approving it at all. You know,
I understand they were told use it or lose it.
That's what they were told. But today we're going to get to answer 3 simple questions. What exactly did the Inspector General find, which I think we all need to know? Why does it matter legally and practically? And what happens next, and who is responsible going forward? So we're going to talk about that today. We're probably all going to also talk about some other things happening in local politics. We'll touch on some national issues, maybe some international issues today, because I like us to have a broad scope of knowledge. Not just what's happening in our own backyard, but what's happening around the globe.
Well, as far as the local thing goes, the thing that got me was them cutting out $15,000 for DJs for Mardi Gras.
I saw that. They're asking for people to volunteer. Now, let me tell you something, though.
Volunteer.
Let me tell you something. It's not a bad thing to volunteer.
Yeah, but what you get when you have volunteers.
But let me tell you why it's not a bad idea. Because you have a captive audience for the entire parade of people who are listening to you lay down the beats, right? And you can advertise your business as much as you want while you're on that mic. So for a DJ, I don't think it's a bad gig. Sometimes we lose sight of the fact that sometimes we need to volunteer in order to be seen, in order to be heard, in order for our talent to be exposed.
For something like that, you have to get paid. Because as a DJ, our equipment costs thousands of dollars. People don't realize this. It costs thousands. When something breaks, it's not cheap to fix. Plus, we have to have manpower to help to move all of this equipment, especially for doing parades. You have to have a lot of equipment, and there has to be insurance on equipment because things can fall and break. And that's a lot. You could hit, and plus, you're not going to get anybody. I hate to say it like this. I'm not down on anybody, but you're not going to get anybody of quality. Because people of quality are going to have paid gigs. And they're going to be like, man, I'm not going to do that for free with all the stuff that I have to do for them.
It might be a good thing then for a startup DJ. For somebody who's just trying to get their name out, who's just trying to get started.
I guarantee a startup DJ is not going to have the equipment like, say, a Captain Charles. Will not have that kind of equipment.
And they may not.
And that person will not know how to read a crowd. You're going to go out there and you're going to have bigger. You're going to have bounce music all night long. That's why it's like when people call me for a gig and I tell them a price, they're like, "Ooh, you're too expensive." I said, "Well, go get your little Pookie to DJ and see and tell me how that works out for you." And I've had clients call back and say, "I'm sorry that I did that because this fool played bounce music the whole night, didn't stay by it, was walking off, songs cutting off." I've heard all kinds of stories. So when you're asking for volunteers as a DJ, that's the worst thing you could do.
Well, we're going to see how it all plays out. I understand what you're saying about insurance, and maybe that is something that the city is going to have to work out to help the DJs with their insurance for their equipment and things like that. But I do understand where she's coming from in that she's trying to be a good fiscal steward of the budget.
Yeah.
And they are in the hole, and they're trying to not decrease the quality of Mardi Gras while still recognizing the budget shortfall that they're facing. I think, to a certain extent, we're all going to have to bite certain bullets to get past this fiscal problem we have. And I guess the question when it comes down to it is, would you rather City Hall pay for a DJ to play music, or do as Gia Russo suggested, everybody get your own Spotify list, or would you rather have police protection on the corner?
Well,
I for one would rather have police protection on the corner and run my Spotify list, to be quite honest, because I want to be safe out there. But I understand where you're coming from. That is your profession. You don't devalue your services.
Nope.
You want to be paid for your time.
Yep.
I get all of that. But I think as citizens in New Orleans, we're all going to make a lot of sacrifices to get out of this budget crisis. And this is where they're starting.
Well,
they're
I mean,
starting with
back
Mardi
in the
Gras.
days when I was a kid and Dutch was in office, always had tickets for Gallia Hall. So when we went to Gallia Hall, there was no such thing as a DJ out there. It was just a parade passing. We didn't have music playing at all, but we still had a good time. But that was back then. Times have completely changed now.
Yeah, and look, we've come to expect this, right? We've come to
Yes.
expect the music there and the good time there. It is a great time.
Yeah, because Charles
being
gets
at
out there,
Gallia Hall.
he gets in with the crowd, he entertains them, he reacts with them, and he creates a mood. So everybody's like, it's party time. Now you're just gonna be standing there listening to your headphones.
Well, you might be listening to Spotify, according to Gia Russo. So we'll see exactly what it ends up being. But I do understand they are facing the harsh reality of where they find themselves in this budget crisis and still trying to make it shake. So we're going to see how it ends up.
Not to get off the subject. Did somebody just walk past me?
Somebody just walked past you. That was Gerod Stevens.
I thought it was Casper.
It was Gerod Stevens, but he is here. He is here. So, Gerard, I had started off the conversation talking about the Inspector General's report, what his basic findings were, talking about the fact that, it's an official warning about how government was functioning or failing to function. We talked about the 260,000 hours of overtime, the $16.4 million spent in just a 7-month window. And I made the point that we're not here to attack the men and women on the ground doing the job, the police officers. But we are here to talk about how the system failed, how the supervision failed, how the accountability failed, and what needs to be done going forward.
So there is a lot more, and good afternoon to you all. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Somebody
so
just said-
happy you could join us.
Somebody just said, damn, I was hoping for all Suzette's show.
Me too.
Gerard was waving at me like he was leaving. He was hoping for that
You
too.
were talking about walking by.
Oh, you were doing the
window
parade
going,
wave? Bye.
Hi, how are
Bye.
you? So good to see you.
I didn't know if he was coming in or go.
I was walking. I went out the door. I went back to my car. But no, in all seriousness, though, to me, there's a whole lot of intricacies in this whole issue, because I can bring up several different things, especially with the police department, on how several of the police officers are getting criticized, saying they did a whole bunch of overtime and it looks like payroll fraud. But what's interesting to me is, and I had to check on this, one of the police officers that I know that they're looking at and saying that there was something done wrong and looking like payroll fraud, and plus there's now another issue of truthfulness, because I understand that my name and this radio station is also in the report.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
What?
Yes. So that means that someone who's listening to the radio station reported it and said that we said this toward that. So now they're trying to figure out who said what.
Oh, well, let me be very clear about what Suzette is saying. Suzette is saying that the report was issued by the New Orleans Office of the Inspector General,
Yes.
led by Ed Michel.
Right.
And Suzette is saying that the Inspector General does not work for the mayor, does not work for NOPD, is not supposed to have a political interest,
Right.
and cannot prosecute or discipline.
So now, stop right there, because in this report, they're investigating it like they're doing all of the issues. And one of the issues that has come up to me is that they're trying to figure out something. How can the complainant of this so-called task, meaning that you're complaining that someone has told this radio station something and you're blaming it on that one cop, you don't really know, but you're making the accusation that he is. And the person that has made the complaint is the same person that signed off on it to be investigated. How can you be the complainant and also be the supervisor that signed off on it? You know who that is?
Who is that?
Ann Kirkpatrick. How you know? How can you be the complainant? You made the complaint. And then whatever they find, you also sign off on it like it's the law. You putting your name on it. I have never heard of somebody that does the investigation or makes the complaint and you're signing off on it like it's the law, it's the truth. Never heard of that before. It seems to me that every time I hear something that is being investigated, especially if it has to do with you and yours, you find either outside help or you find somebody else to do the investigation to kind of put yourself in a position where you're almost recusing yourself from the investigation.
So are you talking about the actual OIG's investigation and the OIG's report, or are you talking about some other report, other complaint?
I'm talking about both of them.
Okay, because the OIG's report is not supposed to have a political interest or vendetta.
Okay.
And it's supposed to not be,
you use both
right.
issues.
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be completely independent. It's supposed to provide truth and sunlight of facts. When the Inspector General sounds an alarm, it's because the system itself is creating risk, not necessarily individual policemen on the ground.
Right.
But the system itself has a problem. And that's how I read this OIG report.
So one of the issues that you're saying right now, that's how it's supposed to be, but it's not. And the other part of that is, how do you, like I said, how do you have a complainant who's also the supervisor signing off on it? So that sounds like to me there could be, not saying that there could be a case of corruption there, because you don't know who talked to who in that office. Okay, I need y'all to sign off on this because I'm trying to put a complaint in, because it sounds like retaliation.
My understanding was the OIG was conducting an independent audit, not requested by a particular person. Are you trying to say that the superintendent requested that the OIG perform the audit?
This audit is different in that case, meaning that I'm putting two cases together.
I think you're conflating issues here. Yeah. I think I'm talking about the independent audit that the OIG conducted of New Orleans Police Department overtime practices, budget tracking,
right,
and supervisor approval
let me tell you how
processes versus what you're talking about, which is some kind of individual complaint file.
So let me tell you how they meld together or mold together. What I'm also talking about in your case and what you're talking about, you're supposed to be the independent police body or the independent body to do the investigation and say, hey, this is what was done with overtime and you're supposed to do it this way, yada, 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 in that report. But if that's the case, then why do we have several police officers in NOPD who are being touted as a fraud because they made $200,000 or plus more as police officers?
I don't think it's necessarily fraud that a police officer has a tremendous body of overtime.
No, because what's not considered in that report that what's his name did was the plus 16 and a half hours a day.
Well, here's the thing
that they can do.
They're doing overtime that is supposed to be approved by a supervisor.
So why are you blaming the police officer if the supervisor is the person that's supposed to approve or disapprove?
Well, I think that's what the OIG report is actually saying, Gerard. I think the audit is looking at how the overtime was requested, how it was approved, how it was tracked, whether supervisors verified it, and whether leadership knew where the money was going. That was supposed to be the point of doing the audit. Mm-hmm. And here are the facts. NOPD reported over 260,000 overtime hours, 16.4 million in overtime costs. But the Inspector General found no consistent monthly overtime reports. Again, that's not the fault of an officer. That's the fault of a supervisor.
But the person that is being criticized in the news, on the television, being reprimanded, even being cut codes that the average person wouldn't even understand on their record in their discipline package, is the police officer.
I take issue with that. Okay, I definitely take issue with that because it's not the police officer's job to provide monthly overtime reports.
Right.
It is a supervisory job. Also, the OIG found no reliable budget to actual tracking. That, again, is an administrative failure,
Right.
not the fault
police
of an
officer.
officer.
Right.
And the OIG also found no clear evidence that leadership knew month to month how much overtime was being spent. Again, the fault of administration,
Right.
not the fault of an individual officer. So let me just say this in plain English. If you cannot track spending monthly, you are not managing a budget.
You have an open wallet.
You have an open wallet and you are reacting after the fact.
But the person that's getting criticized, reprimanded, and possibly being fired is the police officer.
And that's wrong, okay? Unless they can clearly show that this officer was acting outside of the scope of his authority, in derelict of his duty, ignoring the process and the procedures that he was supposed to follow. This sounds more to me like an administrative blunder, a systemic problem, a problem with policy and procedure and supervisors, and not a policy with not a problem with police officers.
And I agree with you. And with that said, when the buck comes back on who did something wrong, it looks like those that are supposed to be in that supervisory position that failed.
Or trying to shift the blame.
And saying, this is your fault, this ain't my fault, this ain't my fault, this is your fault, you did something wrong, not me.
Well, that's poor leadership.
Yep.
Because with leadership comes responsibility. And here, the most serious part of the report, as I read it, is that supervisors were supposed to review overtime requests, verify work was actually performed, confirm the overtime was necessary, and use available tools to check accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
One of those tools that you can use to check accuracy is the body-worn camera footage. They got it on, okay? You can look at that. But the OIG found that supervisors, not officers, supervisors often approved overtime without verification. The body camera data was frequently not reviewed at all,
Mm-hmm.
and approvals were sometimes automatic, where they're just like doing a cursory review and not really reviewing what the officer's supposed to be doing and how much overtime they're supposed to be doing, that kind of thing.
So if I'm that officer who's now under scrutiny, do I have a case?
I don't know what you mean by a case, a legal case. I don't know if you have a legal case. I think you have a defense,
defense
to a claim.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And that defense, in my view, is that this is a control failure. This is a supervisory failure. This is not a front line failure of an officer. This is someone who is supposed to be in administration, who's supposed to make sure these controls, these policies, these procedures are in effect,
mm-hmm.
and that they are indeed being implemented the way they're supposed to be implemented.
So right now, the way that they're not being implemented, if I'm assigned to do something and it's overtime and I don't do it, on the other hand, I get a disciplinary action because I disobeyed a direct order.
If there is a policy in place that they can prove that you ignored or that you neglected. But here, it doesn't seem like the officers were not following the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the supervisors were not doing the verification. Instead, they were rubber stamping and not actually reviewing and approving ahead of time. Okay? So, look, the Inspector General is supposed to be careful with language. The report does not accuse officers of fraud, but it repeatedly warns of an elevated risk of fraud, an opportunity for abuse, and a lack of deterrence.
Mm-hmm.
That all, too, goes to supervisors and not necessarily to men and women with boots on the ground, okay? Why? Because fraud risk exists whenever oversight is weak, whenever verification is inconsistent, and when nobody is checking patterns. So fraud is about opportunity, not accusation. If no one is watching, bad behavior can hide. Good officers can get unfairly questioned later.
Well, here I go. So my issue has been whenever we have seen these cases that end up on the news where we're talking about this person has done all this overtime and they'd have made $200,000 plus as a police officer, maybe $100,000 or more than their current salary. What gets me is the proving of that before they get in trouble. And the proof always comes back for somebody that's not even verified as a police officer, investigator, PIB, or any other office held in that police department or law enforcement together. It usually goes back to Skip Gallagher from UNO. And everybody rides with it.
Look, clearly, the officers are getting the blame pointed at them, but they're not the ones who caused this problem. The problem is in administration.
Yeah.
And it's a shame to try to fault the officers with boots on the ground who work so hard. This is a fault of administration. And I read the report as saying that. Okay, now, is the administration trying to shift blame back to the officers? If they are, shame on them.
Yes.
Shame on them.
And that's
because the buck stops with them.
And we keep using the word, when I say we, I'm talking about those folks that know about this. It's becoming retaliatory.
Well, shame on them.
So.
Because, look, the system is supposed to work if you are indeed approving overtime, verifying overtime, making sure you have the proper documentation. Staying in your budget. Those are all things that administrators do, not things that men and women on the ground are doing.
All right. Let's take the break here. We'll take the break. We'll come back. Hold on, Pop. We're coming back.
To a darkened, sinful world comes redemption. Oh, what a gift of salvation. When Jesus returns, will he find faithers on earth? For the answer to this mind-boggling question, tune into FIJTC, Faithers in the Jesus Christ, every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on WBOK. Follow us on Facebook at FIJTC Write-Ups and on Instagram at FIJTC 420s.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026. The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Hi, I'm Imani Godan, founder of Godans. Go Dance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit GaudanceGaudanse.org.
Let's kick this year off right. WBOK invites you to the Fresh Start Mixer, Vision and Venture, part of a Seat at the Table series for 2026. January 15th at Nostalgia, 320 South Broad Street. Come create your own vision board, set your goals, sharpen your ideas, and connect with people who are actually building towards their future. Kick your year off right with a seat at the table. January 15th at Nostalgia, 320 South Broad Street from 5:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. Follow WBOK Media on Instagram. Ask for details in the DMs.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, right back at you. That's what we do. We get right back at you. And today, you know who's here. The lady is here. The extraordinarily brilliant. You heard my brilliant.
I heard you brilliant. That was really nice.
Brilliant.
That was really nice. I'm going to get that on a commercial or something.
Attorney, and she is definitely ready to roll. You gonna get that on a commercial?
I might have to get that on a commercial. That was pretty good.
This dude in here rolling his lips. You gotta say
I have
brilliant,
but I can't say it on the air. I'll tell you off the air. Pop Joe.
Just in case your mammy.
Hey, man.
What's going on with you?
Oh, boy. I just feel like howling. What a team. What a team.
Oh, boy, it's a better team. So I'm going to tell everybody
man. It made me want to holler, boy.
So let me tell you about the real team. It ain't just here. I'm also with Suzette at her office.
Gerard has joined the
that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, this lady been dropping a bomb on the city ever since Tita been in the office.
Oh, we're not bringing it back to that.
I said, Lord Jesus.
I'm doing. How you
now
doing?
she just hooked up with the G-man, her family member and friend.
Yep.
And I said, boy, they're bringing out the stuff.
We making this stuff happen already.
You already know I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I just try to ask hard questions. Do you think that y'all would be any benefit? Would the new administration would use y'all some kind of way or what? I'm just trying to figure out where y'all would fit in at.
Well, we missed our invitation to the inauguration.
You still haven't gotten your ticket?
I didn't get my invitation.
You missed it? What you mean you missed it?
I didn't get one. Pop. I know it was an oversight.
You missed it.
Yeah, I know it must have been an oversight.
I think mine's still in the mail.
It was an oversight?
It must have been. But I'm going to tell you, I know they're listening.
That's what you believe. Okay.
I know they're listening.
What about G-Man?
No, I think mine's still in the mail. Mine's still in the mail.
Yo, it's still in the mail.
Yeah, it got lost in the mail. Got lost in the mail.
I know how that works. Yeah. So in other words, I guess that's my answer then.
Yeah, there you go.
Y'all can't look for no job then, huh?
No, we're not worried
Pop,
about that.
I think it's gonna be like the last time. You know, in the very beginning, the last time with the last administration, I made my comments on the radio. They were listening. Right. They didn't give me a call, but after the stuff hit the fan, then they gave me a call.
Okay. Okay.
Then they gave me a call. Then they wanted me to come in like Olivia Pope.
She was driving on U-Haul.
Yeah, they wanted me to come in like Olivia Pope and save them after the fact. Call me on the front end, and then maybe you won't have a problem.
Mm-hmm. All right, now.
Call me on the front.
What I'm looking at, it would be a wise thing on their part. Maybe there's what they call, I'm trying to see, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But if it be what they call it, incognito or something, ask y'all questions behind closed doors or something like that. And get advice from you. But that police thing, that's the thing that really caught my eye. with the overtime. Like if the police are stealing the money or something like that.
Oh, well, we're going to see. We just got some other information. It's going to take a minute to put it together, but it'll come out.
Mercy. I say, oh, Jesus.
Look, we're going to hold their feet to the fire. You know, when you read the
OIG's, hallelujah.
Yeah, when you read the OIG's report, he's talking about administrative blunders. He is not talking about boots on the ground. Now, if the administration is trying to point the finger at those officers, they better be prepared for a battle. And they better have their facts straight. Because what I'm reading in the report is a supervisory error.
Hallelujah. I will be listening.
All right, Pop, let's take these calls. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. All right.
Talk to you later. All right, T-Bone.
Happy Friday to y'all, first of all.
Same to you, sir. What's going on?
How you doing, Counselor?
I am doing well. How are you?
You must be fine at this point for you to take this man on for extra work, and you still got your law firm together.
Look, we make a good team. We make a good team on the radio, in the office, in the community. We make a good team.
It's just love. Gee, I got to bust your chops a little bit, bro. I got to bust your chops a little bit, man. It's just playing. It's all good. I will say this, though. I want to comment on your observation that it should be legally right. But you know what? We're living in a country where you have a convicted felon who is given immunity and is doing all kinds of illegal stuff. The last thing I just heard on NPR is that the oil that he has taken already from Venezuela is now connected to a Qatar account that his name is solely on. Good Lord. Does that sound legal right at all? Oh, my goodness. And because he has no ethics board behind looking over his shoulder, because there are no whistleblowers throughout Washington, because he has kicked out the bipartisan board that would have looked into this, no regulation whatsoever, he's going to get away scot-free. I just don't understand it. How is this even kosher to anybody that doesn't have a record and stuff? And then I hear about stuff locally. I'm just not surprised no more. And G, you didn't want to believe me, but I told you when the Moreno administration came in, it was going to retain Kirkpatrick. He was going to be talking about it on this very program. Normally, when a mayor comes in, don't they usually pick another chief? Am I right or wrong?
Mm-hmm. They can. They can come in and they can change the direction. But it looks like she is joined at the hip with Ann Kirkpatrick. I don't think she's going to change course.
I do.
No, correct.
I still think she's going to change course.
She is being controlled by a faction that we are not discussing on this radio station that we may find out, but be silenced about. That's my conspiracy theory card on the table, G. Dap.
I think that she's going to change
Somebody
course.
behind the scenes is pulling strings for the puppet mayor. And mark my words, there's going to be more stuff that we're going to have issue with that is going to clearly not be controlled by her or her office. Mark my words. There's more coming, y'all. Trust me.
All right. Good enough. All right, T-Bone, we got to take calls. Appreciate
All right,
you,
y'all.
boss.
Have a good weekend.
You too, man. All right. Jabari. Jabari?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. How are you?
Good,
How are
man.
you all?
What in the world going on with this administrative through the social media here?
It's honestly, it's disappointing because from the folks that I've spoken to for the previous administration, they provided all the information.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I
let's give, because I jumped in the
Yeah,
middle
we
of
just
this.
changed topics, so let's give it a little introduction.
But I did not do I guess just any service at all by letting everybody know what I just asked you. So what was said was, and which came out on the news, I think it was Channel 6 that reported that the previous administration did not give the current administration any type of passcodes, key codes, or whatever it is, so that they can get into the social media. And this went out over the air saying that they were trying to block them from getting into the city's social media. Was that done? What did you get?
No, that's inaccurate. So basically, what happened was on January the 8th, the Cantrell administration staffers provided the incoming, now current administration's communications team with the passcodes to the city of this is all circulating around the city of New Orleans social media accounts. So City of NOLA on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, you name it. So they provided the passcodes for that on the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was always, it's a two-step authenticator. So the phone numbers associated with that account for those various platforms is of former Cantrell staffers, their city work phones. Once they turned them into HR, they no longer had access to those phones. So then, once the new administration transitioned over after the inauguration, they started reaching out like, hey, we're having problems. And these staffers were trying to work with them along with ITI to resolve this. But I guess late yesterday afternoon or last night, the Moreno comms team got ticked off and said, we're just going to put this out.
And the reason I feel like they need to be more careful, though, about what they put out. The fact that passcodes were issued on January 8th tells us that there was some transition activity. This was not a total abandonment on the part of the past administration. And the situation is much more nuanced than the media headlines suggested.
And the frustrating piece is the staffers for former Mayor Cantrell tried to call into these were comm staffers. They tried to reach out to the media, and the media just pretty much ignored them. They let it just spin. Now, granted, that could be, and this part is really my opinion, for years they've reached out to the Cantrell administration for comment on a plethora of things, and they received no response. So maybe this was, okay, we finally got you on this. I don't know. That's me speculating. But the fact that they were provided emails and provided documents showing, hey, this information went to them, and they never wanted to update any of their stories on it.
Well, it seems to me, though, that this is part of governmental transition from one administration to the next, and that this should have been handled prior to Mayor Cantrell's administration leaving and Helena Moreno's administration coming in. Based on standard government practice, there should have been a complete credential transfer, and failure to update account ownership with platforms and third-party vendor entanglements and all that kind of stuff should have been worked out as part of the transition.
I think this is a great example of the disconnects between these two, the then former council member and the mayor's office. So what did not happen was a transition meeting. That transition meeting would have dispelled all this and would have been able to come out, but that did not happen. So for the Moreno team to say, we've been asking this whole time, why didn't you guys get into a room with the Cantrell staffers?
So you're telling us that the peaceful transfer of power did not include a transition meeting?
Not for this specific department, for the communications department, no.
Right, because when they turned everything in, that went into their exit review, right?
Yes. So
and when they turned everything in, they ended up wiping the phones of those folks because they had staff phones, staff cell phones. So the current administration had those phones wiped. So as I give you the information to say, hey, here's the codes for you to be able to get into the social media, it has two types of verifying
authentication.
What it is, authentication. So
yes,
it'll say, I'm going to send you a verification code to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So if those phones and the numbers have been wiped, it's sending it out to numbers of phones that have no number now.
That
so
do
it's like
not exist.
it's like not even having a SIM card.
Yeah, but
in
in any functioning government, a transition meeting is not ceremonial. It's operational. It's a necessity. And a proper transition meeting covers things like transfer of credentials and systems, chain of command, emergency protocols, vendor and platform ownership, communication authority, open issues and unresolved risk. You know, I don't understand why any functioning government would not have had a transition meeting.
Well, I mean,
Jabari, hold on for a minute. Hold on 1 minute. Let's get past this break. I don't want to break you up. So hold on to that thought. I don't want to hang up either. So coming right back.
Okay.
All right, 1 minute, y'all. Everybody hold on.
Hey, this is Steve Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026. The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think, maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Friday in the building. The attorney extraordinaire, Suzette Bagnaris. And on the phone with us, Mr. Jabari.
What's going on?
Let's make sure that we're doing a couple of things, because you're going to probably hear my phone blowing up, because, it pissed off a lot of folks. This little story is pissing off a lot of folks. Now, I didn't understand, because I was like, yeah, whatever. Let them say whatever they want to say. But I do think that the television station has an obligation to do their due diligence as well. You put out a story without checking to see if the other side is going to say something. Or if the other side just said, screw it, we ain't going to say nothing. But now that it done made and blew up everybody on social media as well as in the TV realm, we're finding out that this is just not the case.
I'm more concerned, the social media is not a big deal to me, okay, to be quite honest, because there's other ways for her to tout her accomplishments other than the social media platforms.
But this is
But
petty.
what I am concerned about is the fact that there was no real transition meeting, and therefore other bigger issues may not have been fully discussed, such as emergency preparedness, such as, vendor and platform ownership, communicate, all of these unresolved risks that the city may not have had. That meeting was not just ceremonial. It was a necessity. And sometimes you got to put your animosity for a person aside and realize that, something bigger is at issue. I'm very concerned with what was not communicated properly in a transition meeting.
All right, so here's what I got, Jabari. I'm getting word that the IT and HR departments are the ones that handle the transfer of equipment. That's one.
Correct.
The communication staff work with them all weekend before to assist them. And then that the communication staff was not a part of a transition meeting, but instructions on how to access went directly to the new communication staff and IT staff.
So another way of saying that is the two communications teams did not have their transition meeting. They had a technical transition meeting is what that sounds like,
right?
But not the actual staffers. Like, for instance, in other departments, the staffers of the departments had transition meetings.
Yep. So they did not.
But to Suzette's point, I too am concerned. Now we can have there's room to have a debate or discussion on which side should to start that off and getting that transition. But my concern moving forward is now the onus is going to be on simply the former Cantrell administration. The Moreno team is just going to say, oh, well, we did not hear from, or we were not provided. But there never was a conversation. I mean, even if you go back, I mean, it's something just as petty and small. But now the current mayor, when she was mayor-elect, saying, oh, Mayor Cantrell has 3 SUVs or 4 SUVs.
Right.
Why does she need that? And it's like,
right.
And
I can be petty.
The Mayor Cantrell responded, said, you didn't ask. The mayor doesn't pick how many vehicles she has. Her executive protection, the New Orleans Police Department selects which vehicle she used, why she used, based off of whatever events, meetings, or wherever she's going. But when there's no communication there, or this animosity, and it's I mean, you can see it now on social media based on what I posted, even down to the DJ thing. And I'm not trying to transition between topics, but you can just see that the differing of sides has continued.
Right. Well, going to that too, I also had, my conversation on air yesterday about the pettiness of saying I said only, so you automatically know where I am, $15,000 out of that $240 that was spent on DJs. Evidently, Mr. Geruso or the other folks too does not understand the technical aspects of a DJ at Gallia Hall for Mardi Gras. This ain't one day. You're talking about 2 or 3 weeks. And then the other part of it, that's not all that the DJs do. Their sound system is the system that is used to announce and toast the queens and kings and talk about who's on what float and what float it is. You're talking about somebody that actually provides a sound system to be able to resonate not only just at Gallia Hall, but to the crowd on the other side of the street.
Correct. So one of the things, and, because people, well, who am I? So one of my previous roles in the mayor's office was executive office director. That person is assigned from the mayor and the chief of staff to manage Gallia Hall during Mardi Gras. So I've managed Gallia Hall during Mardi Gras multiple seasons. It's 10 days, some days of 12 plus hours, probably averages of around 8 hours a day. And you're absolutely right. The DJ brings in their equipment
which is a
provides
manual. This ain't no little something you put in your pocket. You talking about
Right.
I got to have a staff, a crew that bring in those big heavy speakers.
And the biggest point is the pay is associated with the council. They changed it. They made it to where a guaranteed $200 minimum for DJs at city functions, which includes Mardi Gras Gallery Hall. So you do the numbers, 8+ hours times $200, you get to 15.
Right.
The math be mathing.
The math be math. The math be mathing. So if we're going to get to a point where we're out here playing Spotify music, it made me say, wait a minute.
You still got to play that over a speaker.
Yeah, you still got to play it over speaker. And then it made me ask, what are we trying to really change to? Is that too many of us out there playing that Let's Get Down music?
So one of the things I can say is, I seen someone on social media say that, well, Gallery Hall really never really was for us. And some of that can be true based on our history, but also what I've seen. So I am a staffer of 2 administrations. So I've seen the musical transitions and the DJs who played at Gallery Hall, because I spent 2 years under the Landrieu administration as a staffer at Gallery Hall, and then I spent the rest of my years under Mayor Cantrell. And there was a shift to more of us, but to a point that's missing around all this, even with the financials of it. Gallery Hall does not have external speakers. It barely has internal speakers.
Well, that's what I was going to ask next about. Does the city of New Orleans have its own sound system that's going to be able to pump that much wattage?
No.
Okay.
No.
Look, we can't lose the character of what Gallery Hall is for Mardi Gras. We already have competition coming from our neighbor in Jefferson Parish with its own Mardi Gras celebration. We still have to provide the same quality experience at Gallery Hall, understanding the budget shortfall that we face.
But I don't think that this is a piece of something that you need to talk about. Well, we spent $240,000 and now we're down to 40. Okay.
So Gerard, can I jump in on that?
Go ahead.
So the Mardi Gras budget is within the CAO's office. So go look at the entirety of the 2026 fiscal year budget for the CAO's office, and then say, okay, well, I need to break down every dollar you're spending to explain why we can't spend whatever the number could be on Mardi Gras. It don't have to be 240. I get it. We're in a budget crunch. I understand that. But what can it be? Because to go just a straight up cut, $200K across the board, I'm not buying that. And that laments the point that people make decisions in this city with not the fullest understanding of the culture and history of things.
Hold on again, Jabari. Don't go nowhere. We ain't done yet. Hold on again. Hold on 1 minute. More coming up, y'all. We got to take a break.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump has signed a bipartisan bill restoring whole and 2% milk in school cafeterias, reversing Obama-era limits to low-fat options.
This legislation also allows parents to directly request a substitute for milk for children with dairy intolerance.
Trump says the move will benefit students and help U.S. dairy farmers. A new report by Innocence and Justice Louisiana shows Louisiana State Police used force against black individuals in over 60% of cases, though they make up just 31% of the population. Black and Native residents in Southwest Louisiana were 3 times more likely to face force despite reforms and reporting laws. And a public celebration of life for gospel legend Richard Smallwood will be held Saturday, January 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern at First Baptist Church of Glenarden in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. It is Friday. She's in the building. The attorney extraordinaire is in the building, y'all. You like that too?
I do like that.
That was pretty good.
You know, I have to tell you, I came to this conversation today thinking that the changes at Gallia Hall for Mardi Gras were born of fiscal responsibility and budgetary crisis. Now that we're hearing more about it, I'm wondering if it's to change the culture. I'm wondering if it's not just they're tired of y'all backing that up and they want to hear YMCA. That's what I'm starting to think.
I'm working it, girl.
I'm starting to think that y'all want to hear YMCA.
My back hurt.
And y'all don't want to hear back that up.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Jabari. Jabari, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm hearing more and I'm seeing the other side to this. We didn't have to be so drastic as to cut it all, unless we're trying to cut more than just the budget. We're trying to change a culture.
So is that what we're doing, Jabari?
So I don't know. I think I mean when you see what the CAO said, and then some of the first people to jump out and say they're willing to volunteer, go look at them. You know, one of the individuals is the head of one of our economic development think tanks, and he is a former DJ. And I'm more than sure his musical choices don't align with the majority of this city. Mm-hmm. But for them to simplistically say, "Oh, we can just do Spotify playlists," that doesn't. So you got to understand. So let me throw in another hat here. So a part of being there, I had the fortunes of actually having to call some parades, including I've actually called a parade with Helena Moreno. And anyone who knows people who have to call parades, you have to queue up when to play music, when not to play music.
Right.
So there's a cadence to it. It's a true MC position in that moment.
And not only that, but whatever music is being played, it got to be played by somebody. It's got to be played on a sound system. It's got to have all that equipment too.
It has to be queued up. Yep. Because once you say the script and then the float comes, it's great for the DJ to then jump into whatever their next, song they're about to play. Versus, okay, I just said this. Well, first of all, you need to get someone to get the PA system, so that's still going to be a cost. You need microphones associated with that, so that's going to be a cost. So then you get the Spotify. So then you're supposed to read the script, have the microphone, and then be playing the music, and then stopping the music when the band comes down, or when
if you're playing Spotify, you got to have the commercials running.
Okay, well, I'm just putting y'all on notice then. Y'all may start wanting to look at your 80s soft rock artists and learning some of those lyrics. Go look at some Phil Collins, some Fleetwood Mac, some Toto, some Journey, some Chicago, some Air Supply, the Cars.
See, I used to work.
Got a lot of homework.
Before I got back in the radio.
One thing, though, is the DJs play some of that, though. Like, within this class administration, they were playing YMCA. Like, one of our most popular DJs, he would play some of those. He used Sweet Caroline and get the crowd going. He would do that. So, the cultural change is just shocking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to get back that with Sweet Caroline. I think you're just going to get Sweet Caroline.
When I took a little break from radio, I used to work for an audio company, doing concerts and stuff like that. And I can tell you, that is not cheap. The company I work for, man, they were raking in millions of dollars.
Yep.
And for something like Mardi Gras, they're going to easily charge you $10,000.
Yep.
Easily. So you're shooting yourself in the foot by getting rid of the DJs.
Well,
I just don't think that it's a big cost to say that you're putting out, a number like $240,000, and yet you're making it sound like the DJs was the cost incentive that took us over the top. That's not true.
While making $100,000 more than your predecessor.
Right. Yep. Very good. Very, very good. So, what are you seeing otherwise? I mean, what are you seeing?
In terms of Mardi Gras?
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. As this is now moved into, because I got to ask you a question, because one of the things that I was real dogmatic about, because I told everybody I really don't know, but it does something does not seem right to tell me that, within a day, 24 hours, you have folks that are on these bucket trucks that are out in the east saying we can ready to light up the city. How did that happen without no contract?
Sure. So streetlights currently, or previously, however you want to take it, was like 95% done by contractors.
Right.
In particular, one contractor had pretty much the contract for the whole city, because when it went out to bid multiple times, they were the only ones who bid for it.
And that was him and his son, right?
Yeah.
Out of Baton Rouge.
Yes. So what the easiest way for them to position it or posture it the way they are is you then go to the contractor now and say, okay, you can tee it up this week. We are going to shift all of our focus into this area. So we're going to pause our work over here and then just target there. These are the targeted areas where we need to replace and repair these street lights. So that's the simplistic way of doing it. But outside of that, you can't just, continue to work over here and then tell them, okay, we need to do this too, and we need all of this now. It's not practical, because they were already the only one in the show, and now you're trying to add work on. The only way you can do that is by saying, okay, pause over here, and let's focus on this is our focus area moving forward.
I got one more question for Javari. So, a lot of blame is being pointed at the past administration. And one that came to me this week that hits home for me is, although our new mayor, campaigned on her fight for Gordon Plaza, I'm being told that Mayor Cantrell's commitment to paying the judgment in the Agriculture Street landfill case is now being backed off of by the Moreno administration. That commitment to getting the bond money and paying those past judgments, including the money owed to the Agriculture Street landfill plaintiffs, that is now off the table in the new administration because of the budget crisis. And they're blaming Mayor Cantrell. They're saying she did not do what she needed to do when she was in office to get that bond money to pay those past judgments. Do you know if that is accurate? Have you heard anything about that? Was that anything discussed in transition? Is this really Mayor Cantrell's fault, or is this something else being blamed on her administration?
So I haven't heard too much of that, but what I would say is, well, one, another example of resiliency and sustainability didn't have a transition, because until the 11th hour, they thought they were keeping their jobs. So that's one. Two, a lot of the homeowners, former homeowners of Gordon Plaza, I believe they waived their rights to those judgments once they accepted the buyouts
the buyout of the homes. Yeah.
But the greatest concern I have, and I know you're an attorney, so this is something that folks like you, or especially other individuals prominent in our community, the only reason they were able to get that money is because there was a project. With the change in the administration at the federal level and the lack of interest in sustainment and resiliency, I don't think that project is going to get off the ground. So I wouldn't be shocked if someone said, because an average Joe resident can say, well, hold up, you bought these people out for a project. The project hasn't happened, so you just gave them money. Now I'm suing the city for this.
Right.
Because the project, it's all just kind of going up in smoke at this point, because the federal government changed from the Biden administration to the Trump administration, and then there is it's just kind of all in this wonky space of will the city get federal dollars from EPA to do the solar farm? Is that still on the table? And I don't believe it to be. So If that's not on the table, then what is the public use of the Gordon Plaza site?
All right, somebody needs to say something about it. Somebody needs to say something.
Yes, there needs to be a pivot towards some type of project, whether city dollars or state bond dollars to do something, or we just, for the right reason, we got these people off the toxic site. But it may come back to bite us in the terms of a lawsuit from someone at some point.
Another question for you, which has bothered me for twofolds. Number one, this lady been there 25, 28 years, knows the housing issue for the city better than anybody, knows how to get the grants, knows her job inside and out. I'm talking about Tara.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing is the fact that she was told that they did not want to keep her and that they were going to replace her, but they wanted her to stay on for a lesser amount of money in her civil service position, but they were going to put somebody else in her place. The new boss was going to be in that position, but they wanted her to stay on to train the new boss. And the new boss is Jeff Schwartz.
Everything you just said is accurate. So,
what does Schwartz know about housing? And then the other part of that, here's part two. Part two is I'm about to call Andronika because by law, we're supposed to take 2% of the city budget and put it in the housing fund.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anybody say that they took this amount of money and put it in.
So at the 11th hour, Geruso and Montano brokered a deal to amend the legislation associated with the 2%. It's either 2% or equivalent in other revenues. So when the voters passed those the bond sale money at the end of last year, a part of that, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. I'm more sure someone can correct me. I think it's like it was 45. I believe it was $45 million in affordable housing. So a part of that is going to cover this year's 2% hole in checking that box of, okay, we did suffice the 2% piece. So that's why. So it didn't come from general fund. And the reason folks like me were against that, and even Andronika was against that, is you're putting one time for a multi-year project.
Right. Right.
Which is how we got here.
And we don't know exactly what the bond money is going to be compared to the general fund money.
Correct.
Right? So, I mean, that could be anything. But if you tell me that I got a budget for $500 million, then I know that 2% of that is going into that fund for housing. But this bond money, $100 and some million, I mean, that don't sound good to me.
So one of the things that we have to be mindful of with this current administration, and I've been really frustrated about it, is within affordable housing, is we are in recent time, and we support our seniors, but we take affordable housing wins from new build or remodeled affordable senior living, while at Hano, they have a 20,000 family waiting list.
Right.
But we're not investing in multi-family housing, affordable housing, or even single-family housing for families. We support and we love our seniors, but what about these families? And then we talk about population shrinkage. Well, you're making it unaffordable to live here unless you're old. So what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I want to put affordable housing in my neighborhood because it usually ends up being taking the value of my house down instead of up. So I'm going to use NIMBY quicker than anything. Now, my backyard.
And it's a fear. It's a fear. So, for instance, one of the most recent things that happened at Hano, another hat. I used to work at Hano. They purchased property on Washington Avenue. And the neighbors was like, oh, Hano, no. Hano then came in and said, oh, don't worry. It's going to be senior living. They worked with the council member of that district, senior living, everyone's good. But it's like, I'm sitting here thinking, what about these 20,000 families that are struggling trying to find housing?
Right, sitting on a waiting list.
Correct.
Oh, my God, Jabari. Well, what do you see? Well, give me some good news. What do you see good news-wise?
The good news is he don't have to handle it no more. That's what I heard.
Yes, indeed. But, once you in, you don't never really get out because you know what's wrong and nobody's listening to you until it's too late.
I told myself, I literally told someone earlier this week that I'm going to stop doing videos. I'm going to just kind of let it be what it be. I think I've told enough people to wake up and pay attention and ask questions. But somehow I'm still here producing videos, showing people and breaking down and explaining things because it is that important. And even my internal tussle with doing this, because I don't want to become, you're just a Cantrell alum, you're a Cantrell thing. No, I'm of New Orleans.
Yeah, and you know the policies too. You know the policies that were set forth anyway. So.
And he's worked for multiple administrations.
Yeah. But if I wanted to down you, that's of course what I'm going to say. But I just hope that you're not paying attention to that.
No, I'm not at all.
Good. Then you can start coming in here too.
Well, we appreciate people who are willing to speak truth to power, and to really uncover the sunlight and tell it how it really is.
Yeah. You heard me, Jabari?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You heard what I told him? I said, good. You can start coming in
Exactly, because we need the education.
Yeah.
We can definitely make that happen.
Cool. Well, thank you, my brother. I appreciate all the information. Keep us updated, man. It's important that, everybody understand what's going on because, seeing these, what can I call them? Pomp and circumstance news conferences and look down. You see, this is what we're going to do with the cement. I'm like, that cement ain't 12 by 12. But yet I can't drive down. I can't drive down Franklin Avenue without losing the undercarriage of my car. So come on, we got to do better. All right, my brother, I appreciate you, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I'll take care.
All right, Jabari. Thank you, man.
Unfortunately, what I'm hearing a lot of that I hoped I would not hear is shifting priorities and finger pointing at the last administration. I was hoping that they would come in with a plan, put in the right team, and get to working. But it appears that we are stalled at shifting priorities and finger pointing right now.
I mean, I don't know what to do.
Well, I do have a fix for them for their budget crisis with respect to the overtime. I do have a suggestion. Sometimes they listen to us, so I thought I might give them a suggestion.
I'm looking online right now. Yeah, they listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So overtime is a response, not a choice. And most overtime at the New Orleans Police Department is not random. It's driven by things like special events, concerts, sporting events, parades, private security details, emergency responses tied to specific activities. In other words, overtime follows a demand, right? Mm-hmm. And right now, demand is being subsidized by the public. So let's make it clear. Overtime spikes are often tied to large venues, event promoters, private corporations, festivals, and tourism-driven activities, political or ceremonial events, construction disruptions, and purely coordinated city projects. So my suggestion to the administration is that they start charging the people who are requesting the overtime. So
what do you mean charging?
Like, for example, across the country, cities tend to bill promoters for police details, require escrow accounts for overtime, be paid by the Smoothie King Center, by the Superdome management team, by the artist who's coming in to have the concert, by the festival giver, by the parade crew.
No, they're supposed to be, that's how we used to do it.
But here's the issue. The public, the taxpayers, shouldn't have to continue to pay for police overtime. Y'all might remember when Bad Bunny came to town. It was this big issue with they needed all this police overtime, right? To me, they should have charged the promoters of that concert, the artist, the Smoothie King Center, for that increased overtime. Should have been taxed to the people putting that on.
But I know they went to Doug Thornton and the folks over at Smoothie King Center and asked them would they help as a promoter.
Helping's not what I'm talking about.
No. I'm talking about with paying for the security.
From now on.
And
I'm saying from now on.
And they said no.
It needs to be city policy.
But if you are a promoter that can afford to do concerts at the Smoothie King Center or at the Superdome, you have the money to pay for that type of security. And they have details. Now, one of the issues that we had when we were doing those concerts was the fact that, yes, you would be paying for the security because we paid for it, but we didn't have to pay for overtime because those officers would be on their own details or would change out with someone. So at a certain period in time, they go home, somebody else fills them in. But that's when we had 1,500 officers.
Right now, we have a system that works like this. A private event generates revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Police staffing is increased because of it. Overtime is logged, and the bill is landing on the taxpayer.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
But the public didn't plan the event. The public didn't profit from the ticket sales, and the public didn't negotiate the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the public is paying for the overtime, right? So we are subsidizing private profit for public labor. And what I'm saying is, to me, we need to start changing the policy. It's not a new idea. It's done in other cities, okay? We need to build the promoters for the police details, and we need to shift the cost. And I tell you what, when people have to pay, they plan better. Overtime becomes intentional and not abused, and public money is reserved for public needs.
Yep. All right, let's take a break. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. Telephone lines open, y'all. 504-582-9422. Get it in before we get out of here. More coming up, y'all.
You're right, Deidre. That was NBA Youngboy, not Bad Bunny.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's.com. The arrow is pointing up for women's sports and is starting to attract the attention of investors looking to break into the sports world. Melody Hobson is co-CEO and president of Black-owned Wall Street firm Ariel Investments and is part of a new venture there called Project Level. It's dedicated to investing in women's sports. On stage recently at a Bloomberg event, Hobson says she sees investing in women's sports similarly to how she sees investing in small cap companies.
Smaller companies tend to grow faster. And we say the big guys, it's going to be harder to grow the way they've grown in the past. But the women have a big trajectory of growth in front of them. So this is where value meets growth.
The big guys she refers to are men's sports franchises. Hobson feels getting in on women's sports now could lead to big wins for investors down the road. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner. I'm the Black Business Beat.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Pardon me if I'm not surprised that the state of Louisiana has put the kibosh on DEI. Governor Jeff Landry says he wants to return to the way it used to be. Hell, the way it used to be? Does that include slavery and Jim Crow laws?
Experience 2 nights of genre-blending music with the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation's Jazz and Heritage Concert Series, presented by Goldfarb Financial, happening at the George and Joyce Wynn Jazz and Heritage Center in New Orleans. See jazz vocalist Ingrid Lucia and the Good Troublemakers on Friday, January 16th at 8 p.m. Then, on Saturday, the 17th at 8 p.m., catch pianist-composer Lawrence Seabrist and Estralia Banda with special guests Tommy Lowry and Bart Plateau. Expect a thrilling mix of jazz, classical, Afro-Cuban funk, and more. Tickets are $10 and available at jazzandheritage.org.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Pardon me if I'm not surprised that the state of Louisiana has put the kibosh on DEI. Governor Jeff Landry says he wants to return to the way it used to be. Hell, the way it used to be? Does that include slavery and Jim Crow laws? Landry insists his reasoning for removing the diversity, equity, and inclusion language from state civil service hiring policy is to shift the focus back to strict merit-based employment, as if there was such a thing ever. Landry and other hard right-wing Republicans are of the belief that DEI hinders true equal opportunity, favoring unqualified minorities and others over otherwise well-deserving whites. Civil rights proponents argue that DEI policies exist and are necessary because the playing field was never equal in the first place. Moreover, that removing such policies will only increase barriers for marginalized citizens attempting to gain fair access to public employment. Now, I'm old enough to remember what it was like prior to the passage of the Civil Rights Act, when African Americans were still being subjected to centuries-old systemic discrimination and exclusion that left blacks and women underrepresented in the education and job field. It's indisputable that the United States has a long history of discrimination. Affirmative action programs were created after the Civil Rights Movement to counteract such discrimination. Lest we forget, it was the Trump administration that began the nationwide attack on DEI. And now with the backlash underway to seemingly undermine the progress of African Americans and other marginalized groups, I have serious doubts about whether removing DEI programs will bode well for the marginalized. I'm equally troubled by the statement made by Trump recently, alleging that whites were treated badly by the Civil Rights Act. Let that sink in. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funniest story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Friday. She's in the building, y'all, the attorney extraordinaire. Suzette Bagnaris from the Bagnaris Law Firm. I can say that, too. I'm from the Bagnaris Law Firm.
You can say that.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Galloway.
Hey, happy Friday, Gerard. How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. How you doing up there? You still in D.C.?
Yeah, I'm leaving out first thing in the morning, man. I got to get down there as is. They got an MLK parade tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so I'll be. Yeah,
How the weather in D.C. right now? Because they keep saying that
early in the morning, so
they keep saying that the East Coast has got some bad weather. Are you getting ready to get it?
I'm about to tell you, I'm not gonna find out because I'm not going outside. I went to the museum and I stayed in there all day today. I don't do 33 degree weather.
I understand. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man. I heard y'all need a DJ down there. Huh?
What you gonna do? You gonna bring your stuff out and start scratching?
Yeah, I got an 8-track cassette tape of James Brown. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Man,
I think you should play it.
Gerard,
I think you should play that.
Hey, hey, for the right price, I don't work for free now. No, them babies over with. I ain't worked for free since I left out my parents' house.
Yes,
when you stay at home, you working there constantly. You ain't getting paid nothing. So but that dude said he was a freestyle rapper with a James Brown cover band. What is that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to Trinidad for Carnival. I better not come back and I hear my people from Mobile tell me that New Orleans Mardi Gras has fell off. I'm telling you, it better not happen, New Orleans. Y'all don't let this happen now, please, man.
Well, don't they say that every year from Mobile?
But it's funny when they say it. It's funny. But now, you got Slim Shady might be y'all DJ. So come on, man. Come on, man. Don't do this, New Orleans. That's just one request. And you was talking about the police department. I feel bad for the police officers who actually went there and put in those hours of overtime. I ain't talking about the ones that was hooking and crooked, but the ones that actually went out there and worked in 16-hour shifts. I feel bad for them people. Because if you look at it on the outside looking in, the media has shifted the blame to like everybody that worked overtime is a crook, and we know that's not true. So to the good people at NOPD, I salute y'all. Y'all were not the ones out there doing drag racing in Austin, so y'all look good. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to even go through that one. But what I tell you, Gerard, I have no faith in Helena Moreno. I'm telling y'all again, zero, zip, none, nada. How you say it in Spanish? Zero. How you say it in French? Zero.
Why you have no faith? Why you have no faith in her?
Look what's going on. Ever since American Trail has left office, tell me one day that the corporate media has not had a negative story about her. And it all stemming from what Helena Moreno's administration is saying. All they doing is pointing fingers. Sweetheart, the buck stops with you now. No more. It needs to stop. This is going to turn off a lot of people. So what, you want to cut this and cut that? Show a plan to fix it, because if you don't, it's going to be more and more people going to get turned off for you. So that reason why I don't have any faith in her, she wants to take only the good. She don't want to take none of the bad. Those people haven't probably talked in 8 years. So I'm not surprised they transition teams didn't have communication, work with each other. That was like kind of expected, if you ask me. But to put it out there, because what I always say, there's three sides to every story. My side, your side, and the truth. But she goes to the media too much. And she rushes to those corporate media stations and get her side out there first. And her side is supposed to be gold. Now, you just had Jabari on there, and he broke it down. 1 and 1 is not adding up, is it, Helena? You know what I'm saying? So I have no faith in her. I think you're going to see more of this. And it's not good for nobody. And we ain't even had a storm yet. Think about that.
I think you've hit upon something really important. When you adopt an all-in mantra, it sends a message of unity, shared responsibility, and collective accountability. But that message starts to lose credibility when it appears that all in applies to everyone except the people currently holding power. Or worse, when it looks like accountability is being used to single out one person from the past. So right now, some people feel that the focus on LaToya Cantrell risks looking petty and not principled. And perception matters. I would suggest to Mayor Moreno that if you really are going forward with this all-in mentality, this all-in mantra, it means that you should not be pointing fingers at the past administration. You can call, you can talk about the problem as it exists and how you're going to fix it without shifting blame to somebody else for causing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what she needs to
you.
do at this point, or she's going to lose some credibility.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. Look at that clown we got up in the White House right now. Look at his polling right now, because he just kept trying to pointing the finger. Now you got over 60% of the American public don't care what you're doing. It's just bad right now. And I don't want that woman to. I don't want that. I don't want that to be hanging over New Orleans. We got enough problems as it is.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. This is not about defending LaToya Cantrell, but it's not about erasing past mistakes. But it is about how accountability needs to be framed. And what this administration can do is they can say, here's what went wrong, and here is how we're going to fix it. Here is how we're going to move differently on this issue in the future without trying to shift blame to the past administration.
You got to. You got to. I always tell people, and I know folks don't like when I use it military, my military background, I should say. But when I take over a platoon, no matter where I came from, I had about a good week. Then after that, it's all on me. And you got to step up and accept the responsibility. If not, sweetheart, nobody cares about you riding that white horse doing before the Zulu parade. And if you need some free entertainment, you got Reggie, you got JD, you got Monster, you got Tim Warbuck. Let them go out there and act like some fools. Galloway up out of here, Gerod.
Yes,
holla, brother.
Yes, indeed. All right, be careful on that road.
All in can be a very powerful mantra, but it only works if it truly means everyone, all in, and if it's used to build forward and not to look backward with resentment. So, leadership is not about who to blame. It's about who to bring along. And right now, the city needs everyone brought along. So, I just don't think it serves them well to keep pointing fingers in the past. I think they need to identify the problems and just start fixing them.
I agree with that. But I also think that when you're going to tell somebody that you're going to do something and then you have a press conference and you got folks out there with the cameras and everybody's like, wow, looky. You can't tell me, I'm going to turn the lights on. And they're not on. Turn the lights on, but don't turn on one and then walk away. Turn them all on. Have your people together. I mean, if we can do this in one day, get your people together. I'll wait. I'd rather wait and say, okay, on this date, this is what we're going to do, than to say, okay, just on one. Because we still have the same issues. We're going to still have, and I can appreciate that Mayor Helena Moreno said in one of her pieces on yesterday, she said, I hope that everybody understands this is not going to happen overnight. Cool, but give me a time frame. Are we talking in 90 days? Are we talking in the first 100 days? Or what can we expect? Because expectations right now are high.
They are.
And when people don't get their expectations taken care of, you then have, here come the same old again. And then disappointment. And then it's hard to get people back from disappointment than it is to get people on your side when you first say, I'm going to do. If I can do what I said I'm going to do and make you a believer, you're going to believe me. But yet, if I say I'm going to do something and don't do it, that's the same old to certain people. And then when that happens, it's hard to get them back again because you've already let me down. So I leave it at that.
Well, one of the things she said she was going to do that she looks like she's really doing is putting a substation in New Orleans East. And I'm really happy to see that campaign promise acted upon and delivered, because the people of New Orleans East have not had their interests protected for a very long time by City Hall. And so I am happy to see that was a promise made and a promise kept. Let's just see how many of the other promises are kept.
Yeah. Let's take Charles. Charles. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get the wrong one? Charles. Yeah, I got the wrong one. I hit the wrong button, Charles. I'm sorry. Call me back. Got big fingers. Hit the wrong
In the meantime, I'm gonna learn me some YMCA and some
You got a real
Sweet
problem
Caroline.
with this. Because you have brought this up 4 times. You have a real problem with this.
Yeah. I really look. I think our culture is great because it's so diverse, and I love seeing all aspects of the city revered and included. So I just hope that whatever direction they go into, it's going to be a direction that is inclusive.
You know what I think we ought to do?
What?
Since we're already having this conversation, we need to have the Jackson Gallia Hall, the Jackson Street Gallia Hall, right there on your office, and have VIP.
Oh, it's going down there. We got the DJ equipment. We're gonna Gerod on the mic.
What?
We're gonna Gerod on the mic.
Back that thing up.
There you go. We will be backing that thing up on Jackson.
And then we're gonna say, "Sweet Caroline."
We can do that once. Bum bum bum.
Yeah,
we can do that once.
So say it. That's what we do.
Oh, with a new Gallia Hall. There you go. There you
right
go.
there on Jackson Avenue.
Right there on Jackson Avenue. We will be calling the Zulu floats. So you can come join us there.
So we're gonna be out there early. I'm gonna get you a couple of folks that's gonna be able to bring some grills and stuff over there.
There you go.
Sell some food, and then of course we'll have the DJ. We'll have a couple of folks out there that gonna pump up the crowd. So we won't even have to worry about that.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Everybody come to Jackson instead.
And the who's who will be there.
There you go.
There it is.
Problem solved.
All right, Charles.
Look at that. We just fixing one problem at a time on this radio station.
And everybody show up and be like, you got 18,000 people out there.
Right.
Charles.
Yes, I would like to ask Ms. McNaris, is it possible that a citizen can file charges of malfeasance against this council because of the way they did this tax thing, the way they lost our money, this $100 million in the red? And everybody knew about it, but nobody did a thing about it.
There are such a thing as called citizen suits that can be filed against the government. And that would be an interesting thing. I guess the issue is we still don't know, and I thought that's what the Inspector General was supposed to determine for us, where the money went and how we ended up in this hole. And we still don't know that. That's what I thought he was supposed to be looking into. But I haven't heard any more on that. Have you?
No, he's very quiet. He has not said one word about this issue with the city
the budget. No, he's focused on the police. He's focused on traffic camera tickets. That was a part of his report, but I didn't see anything in his report that was, drilling down on where the money went and why we're in this budget crisis. And that's what I thought he came here to do. And I have not seen that done yet. So I guess we're still waiting on that report to know if we do have standing to bring a claim for that.
Charles?
Yeah, well, thank you. That's what I want to know, man. Cause,
I think you raised
everybody
a
in that
very good
council
point.
knew what was happening, and for them not to say anything, for them not to do anything or say anything, I think that's malfeasance in office. They didn't do their duties.
Well, I believe that before the election, they already knew that this happened. They just kept this quiet until after the election. That's what
absolutely. Right, and I think that's part of not doing your job.
Right.
You're supposed to let the citizens know.
So,
thank you, man.
All
I
right,
appreciate
brother.
y'all.
Appreciate you, Charles. You know what we need to do?
What do we need to do?
We need to call Romy and ask Romy to come be on the show. Tell us what you knew, who you informed, what happened. Can I see the emails? And why are they saying that this was part of you all's fault?
I think that's an excellent suggestion. I think you do need to get down to that because clearly the Inspector General is not inspecting and investigating what we thought he was called here to do.
And neither is the legislative auditor.
Right. So maybe we should do it.
Yep. I'm going to call Romy. You know who that is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call Romy.
I think you should. Call Romy, call Tyrone, call whoever you have to call. But let's get down to the bottom.
All right, we'll take another break here. We'll come back in a minute.
AURN News.
On Wednesday, Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Robin Kelly held a news conference announcing articles of impeachment against DHS Secretary Kristi Noem.
I will be impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Secretary Noem has violated the Constitution, and she needs to be held accountable for terrorizing our communities. Operation Midway Blitz has torn apart the Chicagoland area. President Trump declared war on Chicago, and then he brought violence and destruction.
The resolution lays out 3 major articles. First, obstruction of Congress, accusing Noem of defying federal laws by blocking members of Congress from entering ICE detention facilities. Second, violation of public trust, alleging widespread warrantless arrests. And third, self-dealing, claiming that Noem bypassed federal contracting rules under a declared emergency. Many are calling the resolution largely symbolic, although backed by 70 Democrats, it would absolutely fail in the Senate. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Hi, I'm Imani Godin, founder of Godance. Godance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit Godance, GAUDANSE.org.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
From Gentilly to New Orleans East, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back.
We got an interesting question during the break. Are the caterers being asked to donate food at Gallia Hall?
Is the
Since
police?
the DJs are having to work for free,
Yeah.
are the caterers donating the food?
But is the security at Gallia Hall, are they going to work for free?
That's a good question. And are the politicians who come sit there with their family going to pay for a seat?
That's a good one.
If the DJs have to volunteer, are the politicians going to pay per person to come sit there with their families and have a seat? Because across the street at the hotel, they charge like $300 a person to watch the parade right there.
In front of the
In front of the
hotel?
reviewing stand by the hotel, they charge $300 a person. So my question is, are the politicians going to pay for their seats at Gallia Hall this year to get us out of the budget crisis? If they pay for their seats, then they could pay for the DJ.
Okay. So now we got the DJ, because I know he going to answer this. Captain Charles.
Hello, Gerod. Stevens.
What's going on with your big money?
Fine, sir. I'm good. I'm great.
I got a question for you. Suzette Bagnaris, the attorney extraordinaire, is right here beside me.
Oh, you know, I had Captain Charles at my big shot party last year.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was on the ones and twos.
Yes, indeed.
On the ones and twos.
Say, bro, I got a question for you.
Yes.
With this,
you know, everybody been calling. The media been calling me, and you're the only person I'm talking to.
Oh,
so
bro, I'm feeling privileged. So I do have to ask a question, because I think it was a little unfair to kind of stifle out you all. I'm talking about the DJs, and say, you know, we spent $15,000 on DJs last year for Gallia Hall. But I'm thinking that, are they putting it out here like it's one day and like you made $15,000 all at one time? Because this is a whole week or two of events that happen there.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the folks that you don't have a little boom box you throw on your shoulder?
No. Right. All right. Well, Gerard, let me explain something to you guys about it. Well, I was doing Mardi Gras doing mortgage administration. And I may have done it doing Ray administration, not Mitch. But the reason I wind up using DJs because the sound companies that they was using in the past was charging between $24,000 and $30,000 just for sound, and I wasn't including the DJs. Right. So going back to what what's the name was saying, that we making $15,000. It was 3 DJs, and we provided sound, technicals part, and we provided the DJ service and the mics.
Right.
So on the first week of Mardi Gras, we might have worked from 8 hours to 12 hours. The first week, and then you talk about the second week. Sometimes we may work 15 hours.
And sometimes when those parades would go, or they have a breakdown, or they have to stop them, y'all would be out at Gallia Hall till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. And actually, $15,000 wasn't enough money for us anyway. But we was working with the city budget.
So this
that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough money for us, but we did it because we kind of work with the city budget.
Mm-hmm. So when you heard this, what was your? Because I know that everybody and their mama been calling you trying to figure out what's your response to this. But
I figured it was a political fight to try to make Mayor Cantrell look bad, and I just kind of said I was going to just stay out of it. But then everybody's calling me, and everybody's posting, talking about it, and then I said, well, maybe I should make a comment about it.
I think you should, because I don't think that I think that this is put out here like you're there one time and you made $15,000 and y'all went home and called it a day, and then to have the audacity, I'll say that, to not understand that you all, I mean, you got to have a crew. Y'all bringing out speakers, you running wires, you got to go up and down them steps with this equipment. And you're also providing the sound for Gallia Hall for all them folks across the street and all those TV cameras and the toast and everything else that goes on.
Correct. And then the TV station has a tie and tie. Well, you know that.
Yeah, because they come across the street. They come across the street every single time, putting their equipment attached to yours so they can get sound.
Right. And we break down every day. We don't leave the stuff out there. We break down every day. Then we have to go early in the morning or maybe 5 o'clock in the evening and set up and be ready for when the parade comes. Mm-hmm. So, and then we have to provide the mic service. We have to make sure the mic, so none of that stuff is cheap.
Right.
And then you have to have people to work with you to set up and break down.
Right.
And some days you may leave at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just figured Mr. Jeruso just have no knowledge on what he was talking about, still asking questions or doing the research on the DJs that provided the service at Gallia Hall. He didn't do that. He just went out with, he saw $15,000. That's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Do your research and find out what the sound company, just the sound companies alone was charging without a DJ. It was more than $15,000.
Right.
But he ain't talk about that because he didn't do his research.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it, Brian.
And then me as a DJ, we as DJs, we had to cater to both audience.
Right.
So he think it's gonna just easy to put some music on a phone and play it. Nah, it ain't that simple and it ain't that easy.
And then what they gonna play it on?
That's right.
You gotta have
and
a sound
we on
system.
the main stage. We on the main stage. So when people are paying attention, when you got TVs, national TV stations from all over the world listening, so
we're gonna ask him some more. We're gonna find out, bro. But I appreciate you picking up the phone. I feel special, man. I'm feeling special.
Oh man, I feel special that you even thought about me.
Oh, bro, you're the first one. We ain't called nobody else.
Yeah, I appreciate it, though, Gerald. I appreciate it.
You the man. But let us know
Keep
you want to have some more conversation about this because time's coming, and I know you got to be in place real soon. So let us know.
All right.
All right, my brother. Appreciate you much.
All right.
Talk to you later. Captain Charles lit it out. He lit and he put it in perspective for everybody to understand.
Absolutely.
So.
You know, I guess I still have the question: is the food being donated? And are the politicians going to pay for their seats and their family seats at Gallia Hall this year since we're in a budget crisis?
All right, folks, that's going to wrap things up for us. Of course, excellent as usual.
I enjoyed being here. I'll see y'all.
Oh, we got the Bagnars firm up in here. The Buddhas.
We'll be back on Tuesday. We are out of pocket on Monday for MLK Day.
Okay, cool. Very good, y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. And make sure you do something on Monday for the community. Service Day. All right, y'all. Take care.